Well, Pat, if you got that film to come on smoothly, I'll be very, very surprised. So here we are, start of the rotation, winter wheat. Primary objective in terms of cost control and the impact on farm output is blackgrass. So what have we done here that's been different this time? Late drilling. Prior to this, late drilling was going after tea, going late into the night. Now we're faced with late October, early November drilling, somewhere we've never really been in terms of that kind of calendar date due to the soil type. We've met our problem ourselves by going for that early slot into a rape, another wheat, and fairly unsustainable rotation. So things have changed. With late drilling, I think already you're looking at the potential of losing output in terms of yield. So we tried to combat that. So we'll just go through now quickly what we've done to this field. It had a sewage sludge application after oilseed rape, pretty heavily incorporated, left for the good part of a month to establish a green bridge. I've got a slide or a picture that'll come up after this to show you the green bridge, which I think was taken somewhere around here. So we got that off. We had a pretty dry October, only 21 millimeters of rain in October, and then as soon as we saw the first spots on the windscreen, I lost my bottle, and we came in and we got it drilled. We did all the wheat within a matter of days. Drilled with a Vardistat. We rolled in good time prior to establishment, so we were trying to move as little soil as possible. The variety here is Evolution. We have a market for Evolution. We've grown it in the past. It's CYO seed in terms of cost saving. Most of it goes to an ethanol plant in Selby, and that's a market, so that's great. In terms of spray control, I'm desperately trying to see a broadleaf weed while I'm talking to you guys, but hey, here's some evidence of blackgrass control. In terms of broadleaf weeds, I'm struggling, but it's had flufenicet, PDM, Lexus, additional DFF, and then followed 6 weeks later by a BYDV spray and more flufenicet, and that'll be about it. Atlantis doesn't work for us, and compared to previous years, it's working well, and I have no issues with that kind of late drilling slot. If you're going to get away with it, this year was the year to get away with it, and it's given me heart that we can do it using the kit we've got. It is a change, but I think in terms of where the growth stage is now, then yeah, hopefully there's the yield potential here. So in terms of cost control and looking at those big ticket items, with the primary objective of getting on top of blackgrass, we've ditched second wheat. Just not sustainable in the rotation. We were getting the quality from a cordial, and it was giving us a good entry into oilseed rape, but in terms of blackgrass control, it's having a massive impact, and the cost of that was just getting very prohibitive. So instead of having our second winter wheat, we're now growing a second spring wheat. We're trying to maximize the output of that. Just coming back to that deficit that we're going to get with the spring crop, we're just trying to maximize that by giving the plant the best start. We're using spring beans, which doesn't mess up any other cropping in the rotation in terms of antagonism, as a cover crop. We're establishing those. Hang on to your seat, Andrew. We're ploughing those down, and I do feel that we have an effect of the plough in terms of controlling blackgrass as well. It allows us to use our Vardistat in a more of a direct manner too. So spring beans ploughed in, reduce the cost of establishing the spring crop, and then away we go. If you can see the square there, that's one of the prime motivations for using cover crops also, in that if you could, when you saw that, That is purely just where we sprayed off blackgrass in last year's crop, and the soil has suffered. There was no crop on it. It was just wet when it was ploughed over, and nothing's growing now. Just makes us realise this soil needs a crop on it. It needs that soil health, and you know, if we don't do that, we're going to lose soil working days, and that is a massive thing to us. So this will be home safe Malika seed, and you know, we've got plenty of outlets local for that kind of spec, whether that's an export market or into the mills that are local to us. Hopefully the beans will give us a little bit of nitrogen. I'm going to put a still on there. They're rooting very well, they're doing the soil structure, they have noduled, and so hopefully a little bit of later mineralisation of that in that they've captured, and also holding on to the nutrients that come from the previous application of sewage sludge. So that's the beans going into Malika, spring wheat. Hope that covers everything. So here we are in the field destined for spring barley. The wind's getting up a bit, so I'll shout and hopefully it'll not be too distracting. But in a similar way, what we're trying to do here is keep land fairly open over the winter, get some winter tilth to get that varder to work. We're using oats as a cover crop. We're establishing them at the same time as cultivation to reduce cost. And we're using oats as a means of hopefully not getting any take-all carryover. We will get volunteer cereals. I know there is blackgrass in there, but it's certainly not adding to the problem, not exacerbating the problem of take-all, and that's because, yeah, we're going to be in a deficit situation again. Growing spring crops on land that's not used to growing spring crops or not suited to it, so we need to maximise the potential of that crop. This will be Irina spring barley with the potential of going for that kind of 1.8 malting market. Just trying to get some premium back to maximise what we're doing and keep that output high. It'll be home safe seed, and alongside the oats we have established some vetch. The reason for that is to tick the BPS box. You know, we can get it down as a greening. It is a box ticking exercise. I've just bought two 25 kilo bags of vetch for 30 odd quid each and mix those in. I don't feel that we're establishing vetch early enough in this kind of rotation that we've now got to have the effects that they have on paper, and so that's all I'm doing it for. So we're trying to buy time with this cover crop. We're trying to hit that establishment window right, and in this field over in the background here, the one thing that we have done, or it's allowed us to do, is by keeping the land pretty stable on top, we've actually mould ploughed into the standing cover crop as well, which I think is something that's underestimated in the armoury against blackgrass control. So this will be spring barley Irina, and I'll chat a bit to you more about that. So here we are in Campus Oilseed Rape, CYO seed, a good variety for us, quite vigorous early doors, all subcast this year, which is a new departure for us. Traditionally we have drilled all our oilseed rape, but drilling dust come it must really doesn't work when it comes to oilseed rape. Again, one thing I took away from last year was use the moisture that's there, get it padded down, get it up. And that's where we're here now, and I'll show you some stills of how we did that. Pleased with establishment. We've tried to minimise disturbance for blackgrass control, so that was a prime objective of going down the subcast. In terms of cost also, we see this weed here, crane's bill, becoming a big issue for us and something that's going to need to be addressed in the future. We're trying to keep the crop residue to build up organic matter. Soil health is another thing I've probably talked to you about. And in terms of cost for this crop, to date it will have had a falcon lookalike for volunteer control early doors, probably, well, it was with a cabbage stem flea beetle control, followed by Centurion Max, and then moving on to a propizamide. Astro Curb I used, and there is the potential, I know, to put another litre on in January. I'm not sure if I'll do that, certainly a point for discussion. And in terms of fungicide control, there is Foma in here. I took a view that these plants were pretty big prior to Christmas, and it was a long way to the petiole for the Foma lesions to get down, and I didn't treat rightly or wrongly, but it's certainly on the to-do list. Once conditions allow, we'll probably come in and start something with regard to light leaf spot as a key priority, and see what we can do to the Foma as well. So that's oilseed rape. As I said, once this is taken off, this will have a sewage cake application, green bridge into winter wheat.